Hey, everybody, we are so glad that you're here. Grab your matcha, your coffee, your tea, whatever makes you happy, settle in.
And while everybody's getting settled, tell us where you're joining from. Put it in the chat. More importantly, what's in your mug today? Is it coffee? Is it matcha? We really want to know. I myself have my matcha here. I am the latte girl. Joey is the matcha girl. And since it's Independence Day, what is one thing that freedom means to you? When you hear the word freedom, what is the first word that comes to mind? Throw it in the chat for us.
It's a Matcha Latte hour, pouring possibility into every conversation.
Happy 4th of July weekend, everyone. Welcome to the very first Matcha and Latte Hour. We are so glad you're here. My name is Kristen. I'm a mom, a salon owner for nearly 35 years, and a cruise specialist who loves helping people experience the world. When I'm not working, you'll usually find me dreaming of scuba diving or anywhere that there's a beach. To tell you a little bit about what we're doing this morning, this isn't a presentation, and it's definitely not a sales pitch. Think of it like meeting new friends at your coffee shop, local, in your area. Real conversations, good laughs, and talking about life, travel, freedom, and the possibilities that come with creating something of your own. The coolest thing is freedom looks different for all of us. Maybe it's having freedom to travel when you want. Maybe it's more time with your family. Maybe it's less financial stress. Working from wherever you happen to be, or simply waking up excited about the life that you're building. Whatever freedom means to you, that's what we're chatting about this morning. So settle in, enjoy your drink, and let's have some great conversation.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. I'm Joey. I am an Ohio girl, mom of 3 girls, cheer mom, soccer mom, Fiji travel specialist. I used to live in Fiji, so it makes sense. I'm also a mindset coach who's been helping people create more freedom through travel and entrepreneurship for almost 4 years now. I am also, like Kristen said in the beginning, a total matcha lover, and I will happily make a detour to check out a new matcha spot wherever I go. So if you know of any great places, drop them in the chat so I can check them out. We are so happy that you are here with us this morning. We are not here to try to convince anybody of anything. We are here to share our stories, start some great questions, and just create a space for conversations that maybe don't happen often enough. So take another sip of your drink. I've got my drink here. Jump into our chat and let's dream a little.
And I just have to tell you guys, Joey and I did not plan for her to wear stars and me stripes, but how perfect for the day, right? So we really want you guys to communicate with us so we can talk to you guys. So please, when we ask questions, put your answers in the chat because we'd really like to have a coffee shop conversation with you. So when do you feel the most free? If money and time weren't factors, what would you spend your life doing? I already told you what I'd be doing. I'd be sitting at the beach, maybe scuba diving, maybe having a cocktail at the beach. You just never know. If you could wake up anywhere tomorrow, where would it be?
Yeah, I'd be at the beach. To be honest, I would be at the beach. When people hear the word freedom, they often picture, passport or a beach somewhere. And while I absolutely love both of those things, I have realized over the years that freedom, it's not always a destination. Sometimes it's the freedom of time, time with the people that you love. Sometimes it's choices, being able to decide what your day looks like. Maybe it's peace, not always feeling like you're rushing through life. And of course, you've got adventure, saying yes to experiences that help you grow. And sometimes it's purpose, finding a life that means meaningful to you. Travel has reminded me of every one of those things. So today, when we talk about freedom, we're not talking about where you can go. We are talking about creating a life with more time, more choices, more peace, more adventure, and more purpose. For me personally, the first time that I traveled to Fiji, I fell asleep to the sound of the waves that were just steps from where I was staying. And I remember that first night I looked up and saw the brightest stars I'd ever seen. And it's in that moment that I realized, freedom isn't just about where you go. It's about how a place can make you feel. And I will never forget that feeling. It's been 14 years since my first trip to Fiji. It was life-changing, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Sometimes all it takes is getting outside of our everyday routine to remember what's possible.
That's so true, Joey. So, Joey, what keeps people, in your opinion, from living the life they dream about?
Fear of waiting for, or fear of just fear. Also, fear of feeling stuck. Trying to wait for the someday. I am the queen of waiting for someday. I've got 3 little girls, and I am waiting for the someday that they grow up and I can travel the world.
Right. And then we're sad because they grew up, right? And we're like, wait, their childhood's gone. I think people have fear of money too. Like, what if, I want to go on vacation, but I don't have the money? That's a big one too that I hear, and, what people don't understand is we can find trips for people in any budget. What are some others that you can think of, Joey?
Responsibilities.
Ooh. Yeah, those darn responsibilities, or those darn day jobs. Like, what the heck? Those things get in the way so much. Right?
It's interesting because when you grow up, you always like, I want to be older. I want to be older. And now when you're grown up, you're like, adulting is not fun. I want to be a kid again. I keep telling my kids, enjoy being a little.
Travel on mom and dad's money, right?
Right. So speaking of, a few years ago, my life looked very different. I was a mom raising 3 girls absolutely on my own, doing everything I could just to survive. And like so many moms, I was constantly taking care of everybody else. And, somewhere along the way, well, I lost who I was, So when I was looking for a new business to do, I wasn't just looking for extra income. I was looking to have a little bit of breathing room. I wanted more time with my girls. I absolutely needed the flexibility that comes with, being a solo parent and, getting the calls from the school that you have kids that are sick and need to come home. You need that flexibility. And I just wanted to have the chance to build a life that felt like mine again. Travel's always been a part of my life, so this just made sense. And what changed everything wasn't just the travel, but it was finding a community of people who actually believed in me before I fully believed in myself. When I first started this, I told actually, the leaders, I would not be doing lives. I would not be doing anything kind of public speaking. And well, now here I am. So they believed in me before I believed in myself. They encouraged me to dream bigger, grow personally, and realize that I was capable of more than I had imagined. And this journey didn't just change how I traveled. It changed how I saw myself. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this with other people, because sometimes all it takes is one opportunity and a few people who believe in you to completely change the direction of your life.
Yeah, that's so true, Joey. And she's right, y'all. Even just a couple short months ago, she didn't want to go live. And here she is doing this alongside of me. And we couldn't be more excited. So there came a point in my life when I realized I had a choice as well. I could keep doing what I'd always done and hope my future somehow looked different, or I could make a different decision. I chose flexibility. I chose personal growth. I chose to build something that simply belonged to me. For nearly 35 years, I've loved being a hairstylist and a salon owner, but I also know I don't want my income to always depend on the hours that I'm standing behind the chair. I want options. I want to keep growing, keep learning, and create a future that gives me more time with my family and more opportunities to experience life with them. That's what this business has given me. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen one decision at a time. Today, I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I'm building a future that looks completely different than the one I thought I'd have.
Yeah, and Kristen is very honored to be alongside this business with her. We are not connected directly in the business, but we are definitely, I guess, sisters in business. And she's amazing. I'm so happy to be here with her. So one of the
girl.
One of the biggest things that I've learned is that freedom doesn't have, just one definition. For me, it's being present with, my girls instead of always feeling pulled in a dozen directions, although some days it still feels like that. Is creating memories that we are going to talk about for years instead of always saying, maybe someday. I've lived in that maybe someday for far too long. Is having the flexibility to build my business around my life, not my life around my business. It's building something meaningful that not only changes my future, but helps other people change theirs too. And yes, it's being able to travel when I want, where I want, and without having to ask someone else for permission. And that is what freedom personally means to me. And the beautiful thing is it doesn't have to look the same for everybody. So today we hope you start thinking about what freedom looks like for you.
Before I found the travel industry, every vacation had to fit around my salon schedule. I had to plan months in advance and hope I didn't lose clients over taking some time to enjoy life. And now my life looks completely different. Because I built a business in travel, I decide when I want to go. If I want a long weekend at the beach, a cruise, or a quick trip to Florida to recharge, I have that flexibility. My business isn't something I have to walk away from to travel. It actually goes with me. How cool is that? One of my favorite parts, the opportunities we get as travel agencies, or travel advisors, sorry about that. We receive invitations to ship inspections, so we get to go and inspect these ships and see what makes them run. We get resort stays, destination trainings. We just got back from Seminar at Seas, which was completely a work trip, but so much fun. We have leadership retreats, familiarization trips, which sometimes people have heard as fam trips, and exclusive events that let us experience destinations firsthand. Not only excuse me, does that make me a better travel advisor, but it allows me to see the world in ways I didn't imagine. People sometimes ask me, do you travel all the time? And my answer is, I travel when I want to. Not because I have to escape my life, but because I'm creating a life I don't need to escape from. That's what freedom means to me. It's having choices, it's controlling my calendar, it's creating memories with my family, and knowing that every trip I take is helping me personally grow professionally and financially. And so I want to ask you guys, if you'll put in the chat, if 1 year from today your life felt more free, what would be the difference that you made?
All right. And while you are thinking about that, we would like to share some photos of you just so you can see a little bit, a little bit more to what we get to experience. So I will let Kristen explain these two photos because she is actually in them.
So up in the top left, you'll see the big pink blob. So we stayed well, let's talk about the bottom picture first. We just got back from a seminar at sea, which I just told you guys about, and we cruised with MSC Cruise Lines. The man in the front of that is our BDM, he is our business development manager, and he invited all of us in that picture to go on this seminar at seas. We learned all about MSC Cruise Lines from almost like we worked on the ship, and it was super cool. And then the night before we set sail, if any of you guys cruise, you know that you want to fly into the port the day before. We stayed at the Barbie Dream House in Galveston, Texas. This ship sailed out of Galveston. And so this is us in our pink, in our Barbie gear, all this stuff, taking a group picture, and we had so much fun.
All right. So I will talk about the top picture. This is an event that some of our business partners, they created for their local area. And this is about creating a vision board to, inspire yourself, come up with your dreams. And so we not only are very present online, but we are present in our communities, trying to pass on, the desire to dream again, to find that freedom for everybody. And I will let Kristen explain the bottom photo.
So this is a night that we had just got done training at the leadership retreat. We were in San Diego, California. In the middle is a sideline partner of ours. His name is Vincent Palacci. I might have said that name wrong. But he is one of our, I believe, 3-star directors. And then this is our team, the 6 gals on the side that came from our specific team to be a part of the leadership conference.
Okay. And while I do not get to go on all the business trips because I have 3 little ones, like you can see, they are a little too young for me to leave home alone. So I use this business to take them on adventures. That's what's important to me. So I kind of did a background research trip on an alligator safari. So my daughter is in all-star cheer, and well, cheer kind of dictates where we travel. So we were in Florida. So what better way to use my travel advisor skills than come up with an adventure? So that is what this business gets to do for me.
And she lived through it.
I did. They did not attack me. And now my oldest wants to bring home a swamp puppy. That's what she calls it. Her little swamp puppy. She loves them.
I mean, I love it. What a great time.
And this is, these are 2 pictures that I love of our team. The top one is a team retreat. So we have such a amazing, beautiful team dynamic that we create these events for our team members to get together. And so the top one is a retreat that they had put together. I believe they rented a house. And they all had, a few days of fun and leadership being poured into them and all the things. And then the bottom photo is a company event that I believe most of these actually traveled to San Antonio. Is that where it was? Possibly.
I think so.
So a lot of these, I think actually most of them, they flew in, they drove in for this one specific event. And that's the beauty of this business, is we get to have these great events where we learn and get to know each other on a personal level, other than just sitting behind screens. So that's the photos.
And that's our CEO right in the front there.
Yes. Okay, so those are the photos we'd like to share. Moving on. One thing that I personally have learned is, freedom grows a whole lot faster when you don't try to build it alone. You saw the team photos and all of that. And one of my favorite parts of this journey has been the people that I've met along the way. I've met people who were forced to start over after losing careers that they thought they'd have forever. And instead of giving up, they built something new. I learned something new, actually. Kristen says that there's a term for this, and it's aging out. So we have some of those in our, on our team. Also on our team, we have, retirees. We have an amazing retired teacher in her 80s who says that this gives her something to keep learning, keep growing, and, lets her have something to look forward to, a new adventure. And then on the opposite side of that is we have young adults, like one of our 18-year-olds who's choosing to create options for themselves while they're just getting started in life. So different ages, different backgrounds, different stories, but they all have one thing in common. They wanted more freedom, and they found a community of people who believed in them and reminded them that they didn't have to have it figured out, by themselves. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts is it's not just the travel, which is amazing, or the opportunities, but it's knowing that you are surrounded by people who genuinely want to see you succeed.
That's so true, Joey. I saw that Cresta put in the chat. She would just be getting home. She would not just be getting home from work, and she would be coming to see us way more often. Cresta is another travel advisor who's here just to support us, and we're thank you for being here, Cresta. But she works 3rd shift, and she's trying to build a life where she doesn't have to do that anymore. And Cresta lives in Oregon. Joey's in Ohio. I'm in Chicago. So, we're all over the world. And so that's kind of a cool thing. And so I just want to ask you to put in the chat, if you could change one thing about your life over the next 12 months, what would it be? Mine is always going to be to get on a plane more, to get on a cruise ship more, to see the beach more, all of those things.
Yeah, I would actually like to live on the beach someday. That's what I was looking forward to, the one day I can move myself to the beach.
It's funny you
So
say that. My husband has tried to get me on board with buying a lake house like as a second thing for so long, and I'm like, that's not the beach. Like I can't hear the waves crashing and stuff like that. But I grew up at the beach. He grew up where lakes are around, so I get it. But yeah, the beach is where it's at.
yeah, I'm just a water girl. Wherever you can put me by water, it makes me happy. It's my happy place. So lake, beach, ocean, I don't care as long as I'm by the water. Yeah,
Right?
Krista wants to hang out with travel family more. Yeah, gosh, I just like Kristen and Krista just went on a cruise together, and I was, just over here envious, stuck in Momville over here. Before that, Kristen went on that cruise for the seminar at sea. I'm like, I am missing out on all the travel. I want to travel
That's
more.
okay. We've got ours coming up too. Yeah, Cresta and I went. It was our first group cruise that we sold together, and we had a great time on a brand new ship. So, that's work, y'all. That's our work. How cool is that?
So, speaking of, what would having a little bit more freedom actually look like? We talked about it. It could be the extra income, it could be the extra vacation days, more family dinners, being home for those family dinners, less stress, more confidence, starting something new. For me, actually, it's a little bit of all of it. I want it all. So I'd love to hear in
Same,
the
girl.
chat, if anybody's out there wants to share what would having a little bit more freedom actually look like for you. So one of the most frequent questions that, we get asked as travel advisors is, what do we actually do? So Kristen, what do we do?
I love this question so much because people think we're going to come up with some elaborate answer. And what we really do, y'all, is we help people experience more freedom just in different ways. And for some people, like we've said, that means just traveling more. For others, it means additional income. And for many, it's simply just becoming part of our engaging or encouraging community.
Yeah, so we're not here in the business of convincing people. We simply share what changed our lives, and we let people decide if it feels right for them. So, Kristen, another question. Do I
I'm
need
ready.
experience to get started?
Absolutely not. Everything that we do is teachable. As a matter of fact, I had no clue what to do in this business. I was a little overwhelmed because I didn't know where to start. But most people that start this don't know anything. As a matter of fact, we have so many people that have never even gotten on a plane before that start this industry. And some people have no intentions of ever getting on a plane, but they really like to be a part of this kind of business because it's 90% of the time really exciting. Okay, Joey, I have a question for you. Do we have to be salesy?
Oh my gosh, not at all. I would be the worst person if I had to be salesy. We are here to focus on relationships, on helping people, being authentic. Travel comes naturally. Everybody loves to travel. And just, have a purpose to help others. So I have another question, Kristen. How much time does it take to learn the business? How much time did it take you to learn the business?
Well, I am a prime example of someone that's super busy because I do work 12-hour days behind the chair, and then I work this business right now. And so for me, it took a little bit longer, and I was okay with that. Some people come in and they can get it all done in a day. It really depends on what you're looking for. We can set you up for success in one day if you want. We can set you up for success in 1 year if you want. It's really based on your timeline. So Joey, can we do this part-time?
Absolutely. Mom of three over here. If I cannot fit it around my schedule, I wouldn't be able to do it. My kid lives at the cheer gym, and I work this from the car so many times. I was actually in the car yesterday on a meeting. I'm sitting in the cheer gym, working away. So there are so many people that they just build it around their jobs. They don't want to quit their day job just yet. They build it around it. They build it around family time and just, their busy lives. Everybody has a busy life these days.
Isn't that the truth? We need to slow down a little bit, right? So If you guys will put your answers in the chat, we'd love to see them. What's one dream you've been putting off? I know mine's going to Tahiti. And
Oh, I
what
would
does
love
freedom
that.
mean to you? Right? We should plan a fam trip to Tahiti.
Yes.
What does freedom mean to you now after hearing all this?
Yeah. Gosh. I know that a dream I would put off is I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Bali so bad. It's been on my list. Okay, so
Is that how you say it? I always said Bali.
I've heard it both ways. Some days I'll say it one way, some days I'll say it the other.
Okay, so anything goes.
Right?
I think we should just put all of that over there.
Yes. Yep.
Little road trip.
I agree. And then speaking of like pronunciation, I never realized that you pronounce curacao. Like it does not look that way. But I learned something new because it's, they got the highlights from the World Cup and they're getting so much love right now, that country is. So
Right. And you know what another one is? Since we're talking about pronunciations, it is the Caribbean, not Caribbean. And you know how we learned that? Our CEO at the leadership conference and Denisha Bailey, who is one of our people in our business that is from Jamaica, they were going back and forth with this little discussion about Donald Bradley who's our CEO, was talking about, is it Caribbean or Caribbean? Because he says Caribbean, and she corrected him over and over and over again that it was the Caribbean. And so it just became this big joke. So don't pronounce it incorrectly, y'all. It's Caribbean.
good to know for when we travel there.
Right.
All right. So before we wrap up, we would love to hear from you. What's on your mind? Could be something that we talked about today. If you have a travel question, maybe a dream that you've been sitting on, or maybe it's just something that you're simply curious about. Nothing is off limits.
And if you don't have a question, that's perfectly okay too. We'd just love to hear one thing you're taking away from today and where you'd love to travel if you had a complete freedom to choose.
Yeah. So as we celebrate Independence Day, we're very grateful that you are here with us this morning. And we hope that, this morning you were reminded that freedom isn't only something that we celebrate once a year. It's something that we can intentionally build little by little. And we have a question. Kristen, will you answer? Will you tell me the cost it is to get started?
I will. Thanks for asking that, Krista. So if you want to be a travel advisor and build a business like both Joey and I do, and build a business with bringing on a team to help encourage and motivate, it's a one-time fee, $199.90, and $59.90 a month after that. And so for the price of my latte every day, you can own your own 2 businesses. That also brings in 8 streams of income, which is pretty amazing. And we can go over that when we have our breakout sessions if you want. So yeah, is there anything else you'd like to ask a little bit deeper than that, Krista?
Or anybody else that's in the chat? We've got 5 wonderful people in the room with us. Love to hear from you all. I'd love to hear from you all.
You're welcome, Krista.
If you have any fun plans for the holiday. So, if
what
today's...
are you doing?
Yeah, right. I'm just doing fireworks tonight with my kids. That's it. Low key. Right?
Okay.
We've got... Oh, well, thank you,
Mindy's
Mindy.
in the room. Hey, Mindy.
Thank you so much. That's what we were here to do. We were here to inspire.
Definitely.
To share what works for us. So if today's conversation made you think differently, ask bigger questions, imagine new possibilities, that alone made today worthwhile. Like Mindy said, we are here to inspire. So if you'd like to continue the conversation, get back to the person who invited you. They'll be in touch with you after this morning. Feel free to ask some questions, share your thoughts, or simply just connect. There's absolutely no pressure here. We are here just to share the conversation.
Thank you guys so much for spending part of your holiday weekend with us. We hope you enjoy the time with the people you love, celebrate wherever you are on your journey, and remember, freedom begins the moment you believe a different future is possible. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Remember to get back to the person that invited you.